Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. My name is Nick Park, and when I was a child, I remember memorizing the planets of the solar system. Now, I'm sad to say I don't remember them off by heart now. I'd have to read them off a list, but Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Now, apparently since then, Pluto isn't a planet anymore. Pluto got booted off the list of the planets, and they said it's only a dwarf planet, because you've got different kinds of objects in space. Now, I have to say, I find this fascinating because God's creation is incredible. And the fact that you go beyond the bounds of this earth and God's creation still stretches out for billions of miles is absolutely amazing. So you've got planets, you've stars, and you've the sun, as the star that our solar system is built around. But then within that solar system, you've got the planets, you've got dwarf planets, which is what Pluto is. You've got moons that orbit the planets. You've got comets. Comets are made up of dust and ice that travel around. When they go close to the sun, it begins to melt them and they leave a tail behind them. You've got asteroids, and you've got meteoroids. Now, meteoroids are bits of small rock, some of them only the size of your hand, flying around space. And whenever they get attracted into the Earth's atmosphere and fall, some of them are burned up as they fall, and they're called meteors, and others only partially burn up, and some of them still lands in the ground as rock, and they're called meteorites. But it's the asteroids I want us to think about. Those asteroids that are featured in science fiction movies where a big asteroid is going to hit the Earth. Now, asteroids can be anywhere between 100 meters across to being 1,000 kilometers across. So that, they're large pieces of rock traveling through space and orbiting the sun. Now, when an asteroid is first discovered, it's given a code name, which is based on the year in which it was discovered and what month it was in, and so on. So, for example, 1992 KD would be an asteroid that was the fourth asteroid to be discovered during the second half of May in 1992. Now, why am I talking about asteroids? Because I was intrigued to see in a news report that when asteroids, by the way, when they have been tracked enough that we know that their orbit and can plan it and predict it, and it's regular, then they're given names. And an asteroid, one of the new asteroids, has been given the name of Ugo Boncompagni. Ugo Boncompagni. Now, that name actually rang a bell for me because that was the name of Pope Gregory the 13th. Why on earth in this day and age would they name an asteroid after a pope? Well, the reason is because Pope Gregory the 13th, he was actually interested in astronomy, and he commissioned an astronomer to come up with a better way, a calendar that would be more accurately aligned with the way that the Earth orbits the sun once a year. And so he came up with a calendar which is known as the Gregorian calendar. And it's the calendar we use today, the 365 days in the year and the months it's divided into, and the every fourth year is a leap year, and so on. And so that's why Gregory, because Gregory was a patron and had an interest in astronomy, that an asteroid has been named after him. But I was interested to learn that there are other asteroids named after Christian figures. There's an asteroid in space called Thomas Aquinas. There's another one called Martin Luther. There's a bit of rock flying around the solar system called Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the German theologian and martyr. And there's one called C.S. Lewis as well. You see, many prominent scientists have been inspired by their faith to understand the universe. Because basically, who decides on the names of these asteroids? It's the person who found it, the scientist, the astronomer who discovered an asteroid. Once it gets a number at first, but once it's been regularized enough that we know it's there, it's going to keep on that regular pattern, then the person who discovered it gets to give it its name. And the fact is that there are many committed Christians who are astronomers, and so they give Christian names whenever they discover an asteroid. Now, I know this runs counter to what many people try and present today, that somehow there's a conflict between science and religion, or that religious people and people of faith are ignorant of science. And even you do sometimes get some Christians who rather foolishly see science as a threat or as an enemy. But it's none of those things, because science simply, it means knowledge. It's knowledge of the world and the universe that God has created around us. And there have been so many committed Christians over the years, including some of the greatest scientific pioneers throughout history, who were inspired by God, because by their faith in God, they believe that the universe that God created can be known and can be studied and can be understood, because God is a God of order, not a God of confusion. And so today, I give thanks to God for his wonderful creation, which is his universe, and I give thanks to God for inspiring those of us in his creation who have a desire to know more about it, and even those who study it full time. Thank God for them, and may we continue to know more of God and his works in us and his works in the universe around us. God bless you today. Join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.